For joining us on the program, everyone. Our attention is turned to Rivers State today, where Governor Fubara has described the emergency rule period as enormously challenging, but also insisted that no sacrifice was too great to secure peace. He expressed what he called his utmost loyalty and eternal gratitude to the president, reassuring Rivers people that nothing has been irretrievably lost. He also promised to resume governance by completing ongoing projects. His return to office now after a peace deal brokered by the president himself with key political actors, including former Governor and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, as well as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, agreeing to bury the hatchet, or so they say. But the return has not come without controversy. The Rivers Assembly has already attempted to probe how funds were spent under the emergency rule, a move rebuffed by the sole administrator, who insists lawmakers, or rather these lawmakers, lack the jurisdiction to probe him. They say probing him is like probing Mr. President and the entire members of the National Assembly who oversaw his administration for that period of time. There are also swelling rumors about the deal that paved the way for Fubara's return, including speculation about a possible defection to the APC and even suggestions that the governor may have agreed not to seek a second term. Tonight, we ask, what does Rivers State look like after the emergency rule? What are the implications of this peace pact on governance, accountability, and the future of Rivers politics? Joining me is political analyst Ladi Awotinde. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening.
Good evening, Lagos. Good evening, Nigeria. Thank you, Nifemi. It's good to be here.
And it's good to have you in person. The last time we spoke, you were joining us from Canada. Welcome back home.
It feels good to be here.
Absolutely.
I mean, absolutely. There's nowhere like home, so I like it.
Let us start with Governor Fubara's tone in his inaugural speech after he returned as governor. He repeatedly thanked President Tinubu, reaffirmed his utmost gratitude and what he called, utmost loyalty. And he used the word eternal gratitude. He also talked about why he chose not to challenge the constitutionality of the emergency rule. What do you make of this posture? Some have called it statesmanship. Some say it's survival strategy or even a political surrender.
Okay, so it's good to be here again. The issue in Rivers, first of all, let me congratulate people of Rivers State for at least their return to democratic governance. That makes a lot of sense. There's been a lot of views about what has happened in Rivers State. There's been a lot of conversation about what should be, what shouldn't be, what the president should have done, what the president shouldn't have done, and all of that. But at the center of this, there are two key players at the center of this, and that's Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. The two of them knew what the problem was. They knew what they were fighting. A lot of us actually were speaking from the outside, and most of our conversations are like passion-driven, are like sentiment-driven. You know, there are people who speak for and against, and you see from those who are on the side of the president feels it was the right thing to do. Then you see people who never want to see the side of the president. They tell you, no, that wasn't supposed to happen. And a lot of people said they were going to go to court and all of that.
They actually did.
Yeah, they did. So
tens of cases in court.
Tens of cases, as we speak. But the interesting thing is that the governor himself, who was the main actor of this whole imbroglio, hasn't gone to court himself.
They say because he saw it as he would have been impeached if the president did not weigh in.
Exactly. But people do not see it like that. You know, people were just making noise. Everybody was shouting. But the way I look at the issue in Rivers, I look at it from a very different perspective. People like to treat what is happening right now, what actually happened before now, they don't want to think about it. I follow the election in Rivers quite closely. And if you do that, you see, before the general election, if you see the governor then, who is the FCT minister now, and the present governor, you see them like father and child, despite the fact that the difference in their age, I don't think is going to be that significant. So in most occasions, you see the governor is always on his knees talking to the man, and 6 months into the administration, they started fighting. But unfortunately for the governor, he doesn't have what it takes to to fight that battle at the time that he started it. So the FCT minister has got a substantial part of the assembly. The speaker is very much his guy. He's got 27 of the...
I thought you wanted to put to your pocket.
No. I won't say that. So, is the FCT minister?
But there's some people who will think that, well, that is what it is.
Yeah, but you know, also, the thing is, we need to understand that the way politics is played in Nigeria, there's a huge allocation to loyalty. And you can't blow it if you don't have what it takes to blow it. You've got to wait.
The governor at some point was really enjoying the support of the majority of Rivers people, who at some point felt that perhaps his godfather was asking too much. And at the point where he won election as executive governor, he has that responsibility to judiciously use the resources of the state for the people.
Yes, I heard that, and I've seen that views from that perspective. But the truth of the matter is, you don't know what Nyesom Wike has asked Fubara. I do not know. There are speculations about resource allocation, political appointment and all of that. But we really do not know exactly what the conversation was. But people were saying, you know, see, the FCT minister talks, and he talks a lot. But that is the man himself.
Some think it talks too much.
Well, I don't know if he talks too much and he's been local government chairman. I mean, I was never a wicked person, so he hasn't been my guy like that for a very long time. But
because on the very day that the governor returned, he had an interview on the sister channel. But I want us to push this conversation a little bit forward because now Governor Fubara is back. But I want to read exactly what he said about the deal. He said that, I'm looking for that. Okay, told those worried about peace deal, costless peace is cheaper than the cheapest war. There are many people who feel that his return as governor, no doubt, but that he's returning with very little power that a governor should have politically.
No, there's nothing like little power of a governor. If you're a governor, you're a governor. If you're not a governor, you're not a governor. But the truth of the matter is we need to understand that if any one of us has gone through what Governor Fubara has gone through, there will be a little bit of humility in the way we react and the way we get things done. And that we need to understand. The man understood very clearly what he has gone through. He has gone through a lot. In the last 6 months, when he speaks, you see that in him. So, but the thing is that he understands, because he doesn't have the House of Assembly. He doesn't have the political asset to fight the battle that he was fighting.
Add to the House of Assembly, you saw the local government election that held just before now, and the marriage that seemed to have played out between PDP and APC. So it doesn't have the House, it doesn't have the chairmanship at the local government level. Now the House is even asking him to submit the list of his commissioners. He's probably not going to have that as well. Okay. So what makes you a governor if you don't have support at that level, I mean at those levels? So
the point is, we are just used to absolute power in Nigeria. We're used to absolute power. But the fact is that if you have listened to the minister severally, I don't speak for him, but part of the thing he says is there are structures that produced him as a governor. And he wants those people need job, those people need appointment. So whether they merit it or they do not merit it, that's a conversation for another day. So there's a political family. I mean, it's not only happening in Rivers, it's happening in other states, it's happening in Lagos, it's happening in Osun, it's happening in Adamawa, Jigawa. That's the way it is.
So why is it more pronounced in Rivers State? Because, you know, I want us to balance this conversation so well with the reality on the ground, because this is not the first time we're having godfather-son relationship. Some are saying that perhaps the reason why this boomeranged so fast and then the fight happened so fast was because perhaps the terms were a little bit borderline.
Okay, so we do not know what the terms are. Up to now, nobody knows what the terms are. I mean, I was reading this morning, I saw that Mrs. Ankyo Briggs was asking that they need to know what the peace deal. The man that was at the center of the affairs knew what he signed for. And he understand.
You think she's crying more than the bereaved?
I think other people are crying more than the bereaved. Seriously, because the man understand. Okay, we're saying
you're trying very carefully not to call anybody out.
He doesn't have commissioner, he doesn't have House of Assembly, but at least he have his seat back. If you want to fight, you need to start fighting from somewhere. So when he was completely out in the last 6 months, he couldn't fight from anywhere. But now at least it's back. I heard some people say, no, it shouldn't have happened. I mean, all other people on the other side of the political divide are saying, it shouldn't have happened, it's an aberration. Yes, okay, let's see what the cost will be. The idea is, what we feel is different from the law. What we desire is different from the law. So maybe we'll have to wait and let there be a clear-cut judicial pronouncement on this conversation. Then we know what should have happened and what shouldn't have happened. But the fact is, I think the governor understands what the depth of gratitude he has expressed, show that he understands what the intervention of the president has caused him. He understands that very clearly, because what would have happened is they would have thrown him out, then he would have been fighting to come back to office. That would have been a bigger disaster for him than going on the emergency rule that was just 6 months and he's coming back. And now he's back.
There are insinuations that the governor may have to switch political camps to the APC. We'll talk about that and many more angles to this story right after this break. Political analyst Ladi Awotinde joins me on the show today. Thank you for staying the course. How likely is the insinuation that Mr. Governor has to decamp? What would this mean for PDP's future in Rivers State?
Well, PDP will have to deal with their future. I think it is more likely for the governor to tilt towards APC at the end than staying in PDP.
You think he will move?
I think he will move. I don't know when. I can't say emphatically, but if you look at the dynamics, there is a very high tendency that he may move.
It makes the political structure a bit more complex, because where does the FCT minister now stand in all of this? Because he's probably used to controlling political structure in his state. Do you think the APC structure will now also come directly under him? So as a non-APC member?
Okay, so what is APC structure in Rivers State today? In 2023 election, what did APC score in Rivers State? In 2019 election, APC has no candidate in Rivers State. All at every strata of democratic governance or structure in Rivers State, they had no candidate. The court threw them out because Amechi and his people, they kept on fighting on who should be the leader of the party and who shouldn't be the leader of the party. So up until then, they couldn't align. Just exactly what happened in Zamfara, that they lost every, even the one they won. They won everything, but they lost everything because the court awarded their seats to the next runner-up for that election, which happened to be 99.9% PDP. That's how PDP took out Zamfara State. PDP never won Zamfara State. APC defeated everybody in Zamfara State roundly. But because there was problem with party and the fight between Governor Yari and Senator Marafa, because the two groups couldn't align. So the same thing with Amechi when he was in APC. So what is the structure of APC in Rivers State? Yes, you have members, you have people like Amechi who is now in ADC.
Has that even happened before, where you have a single man sitting at the top of both structures? I mean, the two biggest political parties in the state.
So Rivers has a very dynamic structure.
No, they say this administration has a very unprecedented political dynamics.
Yes, because as we move to 2023 election,
2007.
As we move towards the last election, 2023 election, you saw what played out when PDP did the primary and Wike didn't get the ticket. He has said severally that what really made him angry was the fact that the PDP chairman went to Tambuwa's house and he said he declared him the hero of the convention, which we all saw. And I think that wasn't also correct for the chairman, the national chairman of the party. That wasn't, it doesn't reflect fairness. And this was a man who has also instituted himself in the party structure. So that's why PDP couldn't expel him up to now. With everything he has said, they've not been able to expel him.
They'll probably do it after the national convention of the party. I've spoken with quite a number of them who seem quite confident that it is the way to go moving forward.
Okay, so you think the national chairman of PDP that we have today is going to expel Barrister Nyesom Wike?
You don't see that happen?
I don't see that. I think he's going to leave. But what I think he's going to do, what I think is likely to be doing, is going to leave. It's like when you have a patient who has a very serious infection, then he's been keeping the infection right inside of him. By the time they take it out, the rest of the body has no use for itself. That's exactly what I think he's doing, because he had PDP in River State like this. And now he's almost like the pro tem leader of APC in the state. So
another strong rumor is that Governor Fubara allegedly agreed not to seek a second term. From your reading of the speech and the political climate, do you see that playing out as true?
Okay, so let's understand the fact that every governor signed a contract. When you win an election, every governor signed a contract of 4 years. The next 4 years is not given, either from your party or from another party. So I think what is very important for the governor is that he's got his 4 years. When you have your 4 years intact, anyway.
When was the last time you saw a governor
less 6 months.
Who did 4 years and say, you know what, I'm not doing it again?
And so
that's why they don't believe those who are advocating for a single term.
So wait, yes, it's difficult, because if you have seen the paraphernalia of offices in Nigeria, it is very difficult for a sane person in Nigeria to say, in fact, you are not sane if you say you don't want to seek a second term. But I think in their conversation, I don't know details. I don't think anybody has seen the details of the deal that they signed or the agreement they have, whether it is verbally or it is written anywhere. But I think that the governor should be focused right now. It will take him time to settle back. I think he must have suffered some intellectual hit back. He must have had a little bit of punch on his man ego, and that is understandable. But I think now the focus should be, what should people of Rivers get? What should I do for my people? That should be his major focus.
He has a legacy to protect.
Yes. 4 years, we have seen governors that did only 4 years and people still make reference to them, even in this Lagos. People still make reference for what they do. So it is not like, so I don't know, at the end of the, okay, what if he runs for another time and he doesn't get a ticket? What happens? Everyone will not fall.
Well, that is different from not running at all.
Yeah, so maybe.
Especially if you don't get the.
Yeah, so okay,
yes.
So what if ticket is not available to you where you want to run?
And on which party? Because
that's what I'm saying. So if the ticket is not available, okay, so if APC doesn't give him ticket, PDP does not give him ticket, he will go to ADC. Okay, what if he goes to ADC? What if some people make the election almost?
Anyways,
almost
they say that politics is at the grassroots. Recall that the local government election that held under him held on a completely different party.
Yes, APP.
I think it was APP, yes.
Yes.
It wasn't PDP, it wasn't APC.
He sponsored most of his candidates from APP.
And there was no ADC, and they all won, by the way.
Yes.
So if you run on an unknown party, if it's popular with the people,
yes,
it also can win.
It's possible, but don't ever use local government election as a basis of comparison with what happened at general election at the gubernatorial. Or
if you're popular, you're popular, whether at local government or at state election.
No. You know that is not true. So.
Oh, because now it's INEC that will conduct it.
Yes.
Are you saying that INEC is influenced by some powers?
I'm not saying INEC is influenced by, I'm saying SIEC is influenced by governors.
So what makes INEC proof? what makes the influence proof?
No,
as against here?
The results are there. I mean, it's disgusting anyway, to be honest. Even in Lagos, even in so many states, somebody who struggled to make 55%, then they do local government election, they score 100% or 95%. That's ridiculous. And it's in both parties. I'm not talking about APC or PD. It's in both parties.
They say perhaps it's the former Kaduna State Governor.
Yes.
El Rufai, who's been able to.
I agree. I give that to him.
You know, improve the quality of election at that level.
No, I mean, you may not like him for so many reasons, but for that, he did a good job. I think about quite a number of chairmen and councillors actually went to the opposition. But when you see the way they conduct, the SIEC conduct the local government election, they don't use beavers, they don't use any form of card reader or whatever it is. So you don't get to know who voted, how many people voted, where did they vote. So let's
talk about the emergency rule for a bit. The Assembly has already attempted to probe sole administrator Ibas on how funds were spent during the 6 months. But he's also pushed back, saying that they don't have the jurisdiction to probe him. What do you make of that? I mean, because If you have nothing to hide, why should you bother yourself about who has the capacity to probe you?
I don't know if he has nothing to hide, but the thing is, I will encourage the State Assembly led by Martin Amewule to be focused. They have a lot ahead of them.
You think it's a distraction?
Yes. I think
it's a lot of money, over close to 300 billion naira.
It's a lot of money, but sometimes you need to count a loss and move on. Sometimes. I'm not saying it's not worth looking at. It is worth looking at. But I don't think that should be the primary
You don't think that further indicts even the federal government? Because this is their initiative. And then the administration, the 6-month administration, was under the purview of the National Assembly.
Yes. So how much... It's a National Assembly. So how much of purge has National Assembly does to itself? So now the IVAS man was like administered or was overseen by the people of National Assembly that was selected, the group of committee that was selected. So, I mean, I think there's a point. I've read a bit of an argument that if you're probing the sole administrator, it's more like you're saying you're probing the president.
And that's what the spokesperson actually said.
Yeah, so that is more like, I've read that argument, and I've also read that only the National Assembly could have have this required power, the requisite power to probe that 6 month tenure. But I think in Rivers, there's a lot at the table. There's a lot of things to focus on. Rivers is a very great state.
You don't think that it's going to be damaging on the credibility of President Tinubu if there appears to be lack of transparency as to spendings in the past 6 months?
Has there been transparency in the spending of Rivers State in the last 10 years? You can answer me now.
I don't know. I don't have answer. That's why I kept quiet.
So when Amici was governor for 8 years, what was the level of transparency? When the FCT minister was governor for 8 years, what was the level of transparency? See, let's not deceive ourselves. There's a lot of opacity in the way government is run in Nigeria, and we all understand that. We desire that things get better. We desire that we make progress in the way we administer governance, the way funds and critical funds are being expended, especially for people in authority. I mean, we all look forward to that. But when people are saying, oh, there's not been transparency in the last 6 months, even when the governor himself, the governor that was suspended, what was the level of transparency that was there? He was running without an assembly. He wasn't. He passed 2 budgets without assembly. Are you joking? 2 budgets without sending it to assembly. He sent budget to 3 people. The same day it was passed to him. Is that transparency?
He had an assembly that wasn't recognized
3 people.
by the law.
three suspended assembly, and he was sending budget to them, and he was getting it the same day. That's nonsense.
We have to go now. Interesting developments. Is Rivers politics entering a new era of coalition and compromise, or what we're just seeing is a break from what is about to blow up again? I guess time will tell. Ladi Awotinde is a political analyst who's joined us live in the studio. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.